I absolutely adore She-Hulk. It was fun, it was lighthearted, episode 2 was great, the fourth wall breaks are top tier, and I cannot wait to see where this show goes. We're going to be talking breakdown, review, Easter eggs, post-credit scene, and on top of it, some theories about what's happening in the episode. And stay tuned because there's some big stuff in this, and we got to talk about it. So if you haven't seen it yet, save this video for later and come back so you don't get spoiled. We're going to run through the episode in order. So in the beginning, we find out that Titania is an influencer. She's a super-powered influencer. Well, now she's in jail, but that's how much we get of her. I'm kind of curious if we'll see her more later down the road, but for now, we're done with her. And then She-Hulk gets her name from the news, everyone calling her She-Hulk, and she despises it, which is hilarious, and I love it. And she doesn't like being called She-Hulk. She doesn't want to be this hero, but in the end, she has to come to terms with who she is now, because that's what people want, and that's the only way she's going to be able to get a job. She talks about the only reason people become superheroes is because they're adult orphans, they're billionaires, they're narcissists, and that they're not even paid, have maternity leave or anything else, so she doesn't want to be a superhero. She wants to be a lawyer, so she has all these benefits. Which makes sense. How are you going to live on a $0 a year salary? But when she's talking about adult orphans, billionaire, and narcissist, I was trying to figure out who the hell she was talking about. Narcissist and billionaire, Tony Stark. Pretty easy, but who would be an adult orphan? Like, technically, I guess Spider-Man's the only orphan that I can think of off by heart when it comes to the heroes. Maybe Scarlet Witch. I mean, she was an orphan when she was younger, but I don't know. I'm kind of stuck at that point where I don't know who's the adult orphan anymore, but they're out there. And I love the fact that when she's drinking with her company as She-Hulk, her boss comes over to her and is like, okay, can you get back to Gen form? Please, we can't deal with this. And when she gets to Gen form, she gets hammered because of the metabolism difference. And then he just fires her. It's like, bro, she saved everyone and you're going to fire her? It's because of conflict of interest and the fact that the jury is now one-sided because she saved him. But what was she going to do? Let him die? And then no other freaking law firms will hire her because she's a superhero and they don't want to deal with it. I'm like, bruh, I would get a superhero as my lawyer. I'd rather have that than some regular chump. But when she's on the couch with her friend Nikki and she's looking at articles and stuff, we see on the webpage, there's a shit ton of Easter eggs. The first one I want to point out is there's a man that gets in a brawl with metal claws. You know who that is? That is Wolverine. Wolverine exists in the MCU, and you cannot say anything about it, and that's what we're getting. We are getting Wolverine, and I can't wait. And then on top of it, right underneath, it says, reason why there's a big statue sticking out of the ocean. That is finally, the goddamn Celestial from Eternals. I've been waiting so many projects just to hear one thing, and that was good enough for me. I didn't give a shit about anything else. That was a good enough reference for me. There's also a QR code on that page that brings you to She-Hulk #1, which is the first appearance of JKLH. We also had a Fine Ant-Man tab, a Norse Mythology tab for Thor, Avengers tab. Then there was an Iron Man 3's little ad on the side for shoes. And on top of that, when Jen looks at her phone, after she gets a notification, it is Captain America's ass. Then we go to the family dinner, which we finally meet Ched, which everyone just loves. And then her dad asks Jen about Hawkeye and how, does he go and collect all his arrows, which he does because we found that out in Hawkeye, which I thought was pretty funny, because now they're asking all these superhero questions when she obviously has no idea. And they talk about having to deal with the Hulk in the family because they already have one. And they reference, well, at least you haven't destroyed a city, which I was thinking. So the Hulk has technically destroyed a few. You got the Incredible Hulk where he's fighting Abomination, where they destroy Harlem. Then you have Avengers where, well, he's technically destroying the city while he's fighting the Chitauri. And then you have Age of Ultron when they're fighting in Age of Ultron where Iron Man knocks him out with the Hulk Buster. So that's something else. Then we move over to JKLH, where we have Jen walking through the office and they only want her to be She-Hulk. And when she's walking through the office, she's doing all these fourth wall breaks, which I love. I absolutely love the fourth wall breaks. I think it just fits really well with the show and it just works out beautifully. And while she's walking through the office, we pass by an office that has a bunch of Marvel comics on the wall. So there's Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, and I wasn't sure about the rest, but I think I saw Scarlet Witch one because one of the covers looked similar to Scarlet Witch, but I definitely did see Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. Then we have our first case being Abomination, and she goes in, and we're back at the DODC, the Department of Damage Control, which we haven't seen, well, which we've seen recently in Miss Marvel and Spider-Man No Way Home. So now we're going back into there, and I was wondering when she was walking through the halls that we're going to see other cells, but we didn't. So maybe later in another episode, we'll see cells for possible Marvel villains that are in the Department of Damage Control already. And I like how we find out that Abomination has come to terms with who he is. He's been able to meditate and kind of calm down, just like how the Hulk has, and he's trying to become a better person. Now, this makes sense because he even states that the only reason he became that monster was because the government gave him the super soldier serum, which Jen had no idea about. which technically this is the government's fault, because he thought he was the hero trying to save the city from this rampaging monster, and then in the end, he was that rampaging monster, all because of the government giving him the super soldier serum. So it shows that he's trying to be a better person. Who knows if that's actually true? But because he's been in prison this entire time, it's not like he could do anything. Well, except the cage match in Shang-Chi. But we'll get to that. I like how after all that, Jen goes back to talk to Bruce and calls him and like, hey, I'm going to be doing this. And she's trying to ask him if it's okay, but she's clearly stating that she's going to do it anyways. And Bruce is like, you're going to do it anyways, it's fine. And he's like, yeah, I got a nice letter from him not long ago, and we've kind of come to terms, which I thought was nice, but I also still want to see a Hulk versus Abomination rematch in their new forms, just saying. But Hulk is doing all this while on the fucking phone on a spaceship. He is on a spaceship. He's on the Sakaar messenger ship from the first episode, and the thing is, he doesn't really say anything. He says he has to go deal with some stuff. What is he going to go deal with? Is he going to go see the Grand Master? Is he going to go see his son? Is he going to go fight in the championship again? Like, I really want to know what's going to happen here because he's going back to Sakaar. And are we going to find out by the end of She-Hulk? Or is this going to be setting up World War Hulk somehow? It'll obviously be way different from the comics, but I'm interested to seeing what happens because now the Hulk has possibly been set up to a new storyline. And there's no way you can do that in someone else's movie. It has to be his own. And there's also been rumors about Universal losing the rights to it. So I'm looking forward to finding out what's going on, and I really hope either we find out by the end of She-Hulk or Marvel announces at T23. But let's now get right back into Abomination, because Jen Walters sees on the news that footage released of Abomination escaping from prison and fighting in a cage match. My question right now is, because I'm just thinking about this after I made my other videos, did he leave right after Jen left, or is this old footage? Like, did Shang-Chi take place at the same time as episode 1 and episode 2? Or did Shang-Chi take place before and the news is just getting the information now? That's my question. And if they are, then, what's going on? How is it going to be dealt with? But we know Wong is the one that took him out and put him back in. So Wong is going to be in the next episode for sure. And I cannot wait to see our boy Wong again because he is awesome. He's easily one of the best characters in the MCU right now. And I am looking forward to figuring out the explanation to why Abomination is there. Because on top of all that, Abomination talks about being on loan to the US government, which is 100% the Thunderbolts. There's no other way about it. So I can't wait to find out next week. And I'm not going to be here next week to cover it. So what I'm going to be doing is that this background will probably be either a shitty wall or it'll be a lake. Because I will be on vacation, but I still want to try to make the video. And I'm going to try to make it that day. But if I can't, it might come out a day later. But just stay tuned. So as long as you're following, when you have the follow alerts on, you'll know what's going on. But then we get the post-credit scene. And the post-credit scene is just Jen helping out her family now because she's jacked. She's lifting up a car. She's helping out take bottles in. She's hanging TV. And I just love how now they're just using her for helping out the family. Which, I mean, yeah, they are using her, but she's still trying to help her family, which I thought was just funny and nice. And I love the fact that these episodes have post-credit scenes. Like, they're nothing really big. They're just kind of funny moments and nice moments for the show. I'm sure something will get bigger and bigger down the line. But right now, it's just nice fun into it. I really like this show. I think She-Hulk is going to be the best MCU project this year. And all the haters coming out, fuck them haters. Who gives a shit? If you don't enjoy the show, don't watch it. But if you're enjoying it, just enjoy on and let's nerd out together. Because I feel like there's going to be so much more coming. And we're only in episode 2, and there's 9 of them. Oh my god. I can't wait. What do you guys think of She-Hulk? What did you think of episode 2? Did I miss any Easter eggs? Let me know down in the comments. And make sure you hit the subscribe button for more because I'm going to keep covering this show as much as possible. And make sure you follow me on my other social medias because I also have a lot of stuff talking about over there. Shorter form if you don't want to watch the longer form and blah, 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 blah. I'm having a great time doing this, and I'll talk to you guys later.